Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El. Now you know my channel, it covers an array of things from technology reviews to pretty much anything like electronics, whatever, and games and all that other stuff, and how to build things and everything. But every now and again, even though I have a lot of spiritual videos, I wanted to make sure people knew about something now, an additional thing that I'm going to do. Because I guess it is, from time to time, because I guess it is becoming an epidemic right now due to a lot of thieves out there. So I'll tell you a little story of what happened exactly. I'm in the park right now, but kind of a weird place to film at, but I just needed some peace and quiet. And then I just told myself, just imagine how many people this video right now hopefully will help. And if that happens, my mission in life, if I'm to die the next day, I'm going to be very happy that what this hopefully will achieve. So fraud. Now you guys know I released about several videos, actually 3 videos on my YouTube channel about it, but right now I'm going to tell you a story. A lady contacted me, and it kind of hit a little bit close to home. She contacted me on my YouTube. She also, and I do apologize. Sometimes I don't get alerted on the phone. It doesn't tell me, or even on my computer, it doesn't tell me somebody writes to me. This is why I tell people to go on my Instagram, vortex_cinema. I'll put it in the description. The reason why I made that because you guys requested it, because you told me that you've written to me, and for some reason I didn't reply. I want you to know that I reply to everything. You guys see it in the comments. I always reply. So the fact that I don't, it's because I never get alerted of anything from the private messages. So what happened is she contacted me, and I obviously didn't get the alert, so then she contacted me on Instagram. We then spoke on WhatsApp and started having a talk, and she completely broke down in tears. She told me what had happened, because I did the other episodes about fraud, and it really hit me hard. Basically, the story is, she's a single mother. She told me I could share this story on here because it's for the sake of helping many people out. So in respect to her, I am going to leave her name out of this, but she did say I could share the story and so on and so forth. So if you're seeing this, know that I am right now. Basically, she's a single mother raising 3 children. Now myself, I come from a broken home. My father was never there for me, and my mom had to work 3 jobs to raise us when we were kids, my brother and I, and it was hell. And I absolutely have the biggest respect for single mothers out there, also single fathers out there, who are raising their kids and trying to make them not lose out on things, and trying to do what it takes to raise their kids the right way, and all of that stuff, to to put the anger aside, and all of that, and rightful anger, of course, to put it aside and not let them be a victim of it, and really promote a healthy environment for their children, to raise them right. And I have the utmost respect for these kind of parents, due to me coming from a broken home. Now that I'm a married man, I know the exact importance of having a husband and wife, to instill the right things in their kids, and not to to always understand what a marriage is, and how important it is, not just in a religious sense, or like doing a covenant with God or whatever, but that stuff. But I'm saying to you, when you do that and you decide to have kids, you have that commitment to your children as well. So even if there is a divorce between husband and wife, they should always maintain love and care for their kids, and try to make things work, and not just be completely this, because crazy things like these things here happen. And I'm sure this happens to a lot of people as well. It happened to me when I was in college. A fraud person got to me, and I'll talk about that as well. So basically what happened to this woman, she was working 2 jobs. One was her bread and butter job. The other job was an extra job just to pick up some money. So the bread and butter job, the douchebags actually fired her. And it was really hard during holiday times. This happened before, Christmas, and it was just beyond horrible for her. She didn't know what she was going to do. she went, and started looking for jobs. Went on ZipRecruiter, went on was it Monster, went on all these famous sites, and apparently some asswipe contacted her on, I believe it was a text message saying they got her resume from ZipRecruiter or whatever, and or whatever it is, and they wanted. To reach out to her for a job. Definitely it's going to be a good job. It pays well, and they're really good at it too. These fraudulent pieces of garbage that they say realistic things like we'll give you 40,000 a year. They're not going to say, well, we'll pay you 300 grand a year. And what they do is they lure you into a Google Hangout page and say, well, let's do our stuff on Google Hangouts. And, we'll talk about it, and we'll talk more about the job and all that. And then they put you through a bunch of tests. They tell you fill these papers out. They're very pro. They take usually these training manuals from actual businesses. And what they do is they... I don't know why it's flickering here. What they do is they actually tell you, to contact them and whatever. And then you're doing all of this work. And then they tell you, well, you're going to need a computer. You're going to need a printer and everything. And you could tell them you have it. They're going to say, well, we want you to have one from our company, whatever. They might use other strategies. And then what they do is they send you a check. And you automatically think that's validation. So you're like, okay, wow, well, these guys are not full of shit. They're valid. They just sent me a check. And the stupid part about banks are you have to write your account number on a freaking check, which is ridiculous. And when the check bounces, it returns the check back to them. They already know your entire bank account. They also can do identity theft, which is what they do mostly. And they tell you fill out your social security. Some of them don't, though. They just go with the stealing and that's it. Some of them are very simple, and there's some that are extremely cunning. Okay, and that's what happened to her. A person who was extremely cunning. Now, first off, I don't want you guys blaming yourselves. It's not your fault. We live in a dishonest world. The majority of the world are amazing, but it's the minority part of the world, the small part of the world that has evil. I mean, we have good and evil, and you shouldn't blame yourself for falling victim to this, because believe me, many have been scammed one way or another in their lives. The important part is that you get out of it, you move on with your life and act like it, just let it be a lesson to you, and that's it. And unfortunately, what happened to her, she was struggling. She was, and when you have that hatred, when you for what they did to you, because they fired her, and or you're panicking, it blinds you, and then you fall victim, and you become the ultimate target. You become the one that they sought, that they look for, and they capitalize on moments like this, especially in the holidays. They do this because they know people are looking for either extra jobs or whatnot to pay for Christmas presents, so they do it a little bit before the holidays, and they start going right into it really, really hard. Even after New Year's, when people have a New Year's resolution to keep, they attack people during that time, and they usually come from countries like Malaysia, South Africa, Ghana, different parts of the world. Now, I'm going to say this, I don't want any hatred for these countries. They have great people in them. It's just like every other country. You have assholes and you have good people and bad people. And unfortunately, these bad people operate from there. They operate from Taiwan. They operate from different types of the world, because what happens is their laws there, they don't really enforce, or they can get away with, murder over there, and they wouldn't even bother them. A lot of the countries come from Middle Eastern countries. They come from, and most of them have one thing in common. Either they raise money for terrorists, or they raise money just for themselves. They're thieves. And that's what happens. Usually the ones that do identity theft are usually people who are involved in terrorism, and they raise money for places like Hezbollah, Hamas, what was the other one that I saw? ISIS, of course, Al-Qaeda. Different types of terrorist organizations are raising. Hamas doesn't really do that right now because I think they're getting funding elsewhere, or some crap. But most of the other terrorist groups are actually obtaining money through these illegal activities. So it's just really, really horrible. to see what's going on over there. It's just really, really horrible. And again, it's not the people, it's the terrorists. It's not the people, it's the evil in the world that exists that are that. Like I said, there's even ones that are not terrorists. They're just out to steal money. For me, I called them terrorists also because what they, the long-term effects they do on families and stuff like that, it's just really, really horrible. I mean, there was even an incident about years ago, I remember, where a guy got scammed and he killed himself because he didn't know what to do, how to raise his family. And he went and told his family that he lost his job. And, even though his wife was extremely supportive and everything was supportive, his whole life came crashing down. And it's the wrong thing to do, obviously. If anybody is even thinking about suicide, contact me. I'll talk you out of the ledge. Because trust me, it does get better if you give it time. Time heals, it really heals all wounds, and you'll get through it. So definitely contact this brother right here. I'm your brother. This is the People's Channel, guys. So we're family here. And if you need anything, you contact me right away. Anyway, so what happened was this poor lady got scammed. So she did the check thing. She sent the check in and, filled out all the forms, told them they ask you for a picture of your bank and all kinds of identification things. And they're very cunning in the way you get it. I mean, how they get it. And then what happens is they end up getting that check bounced. You pay the fee for the bounced check, and they get your information, and that's when they begin to steal money. They'll also do it through a MoneyGram, okay, through Western Union or through other crap holes that they're going to find, all kinds of things. And what they do is they steal, the money from you. They empty out your accounts. They empty out everything. So the first thing you should do is when you have that feeling that you're getting scammed or whatever, change your bank account immediately. Contact the bank, go into, one of those booths, speak with the representative. I guarantee freaking to you, they're going to recommend that you completely make a new account, okay? That you take out the old account because most likely it's going to be fraud. Now, you don't have to fear because a lot of these banks, they have insurance. Okay, all of these banks should have insurance, and but they're going to back you up. You're going to just have to pay for the the fee for the bounce check, and they will back you up. Some of them don't require a fee. You could probably talk that out. I talked it out for somebody on, I think they were in Chase Bank, so I had to talk with the rep, and I explained the whole situation because they were this was like years ago, they were completely stunned, didn't know what the hell was going to happen, and I managed to talk it out, and they didn't have to pay anything. So you could talk, you could do it. But it's in a time of desperation when you don't have money and everything, even $2 can be extremely expensive, let alone $35, or God knows what they charge these days, 50, 60, 80, 150, who knows. But the thing is, you're going to be protected most likely, and let that, kind of be a lesson in life, that in life, that's how you become smarter and you become stronger. You have to look at it that way. It's by going in the pitfalls, by basking in it, by being comfortable in it, by learning the ups and downs, and you're going to overcome everything. The thing is, how you defeat this is, first off, you need to understand that what I just told you, how they go about doing things, that's exactly what it is. So once you get anybody who contacts you through text or wants to talk to you in Google Hangout, and they don't want to talk to you on the phone, some will even talk to you on the phone, but they don't want to they don't have a physical location. You can't go and see. I know one guy who represented some pharmacy. Call that fucking pharmacy up. Call them up and tell them, hey guys, I want to speak to a rep. Do you guys do this? And I guarantee you, when you call, and I'm not telling you to call the number they provide, but actually look up the name of that thing on Google and look them up and contact them, and you'll see that they'll say they never do businesses like that. They never do it like this and all of these things. And you will realize that these guys are complete frauds. Okay, another big fraud that's happening, and it's a legal fraud, a big loophole, as I told you guys before, is the insurance companies. They call you in, again, in the holiday times, in this and whatever, and they sucker people in. Not all insurance, obviously, are fraud, but these certain ones that are run by independent people who are telling you they work for the MTA or they work for all these things. What they do is they draw people into their bullshit organizations. And yes, you can make money, but you're the one doing all the hard work. Meanwhile, they're, the middleman, they're collecting all your money, and most likely you won't make anything. And what they do is they pressure you, and this is the fraud part. And they do it in such a cunning way. Some of them will tell you, like, well, in order to get an insurance, license, They tell you about the license thing not during, you signing up or on their resume. Resume on their job posting. They'll tell you that after you go through their stressful interviews, and they'll tell you it's going to be 3 interviews. Some of them do all the 3 in one day, and then they'll tell you, well, you need to get your license, and you have to take this class. And this class costs about $600, whatever, $300 to $600. They do this also with security licensing. They actually open up locations in places like Wall Street, so you'll think they're legitimate. Meanwhile, it's like a hole in the wall, and they rip people off left and right and tell you when you could get $25 licenses for security. They would tell you that you owe them a shit ton of, that you got to pay $500, $600, $800, and that's how they make their money. They're crooks. And then what happens is you go in there and you're paying it. Now, some of them are extremely cunning. So what they do is they say things like, well, you could get it from any other school that you want if you want, but it's going to take you, which is the real thing. They're going to say it's going to take you about 12 weeks to get it. But and it's going to cost you about maybe they'll say $200. But if you take it with us, we have an accelerated course. It's $100 extra, or they might even say it's the same price. But some of them are cunning. They'll say it's $100 extra, but you'll be done in 2 weeks. So you pay $300, and you're going to get And plus, we have connections with the person who gives those tests. So most likely you'll get that license right away, and you'll be ready to work, and yada yada yada, and all this other crap. And it's all bullshit, because you're going to be putting in the own footwork, you're going to be doing that, and you're going to find out that it's not easy like they said it is, and it's all bullshit. It was only a way for them to sucker out of you money. Now, there's other marketing groups. When I was younger, I fell for this. When I was in college, I was looking for a job, and I couldn't find any part-time job here in New York, which is like unusual, but I was a full-time student, and I took double majors. I wanted to try to make something of my life, and it was extremely hard for me, and I finally found a job. But before I found one, I landed on all these fake ones, like one, this major one that tells you to sell knives from door to door. Like, who's in New York is whoever's going to let you into their house talk with a set of knives that you're buying is either freaking crazy or extremely gullible. But that's what happened, and I outscammed them, and now they're even smarter, because now I'm seeing they're still operating, and they usually operate in colleges. So what they tell you is you have to pay $450 for their set, and then you can go and sell them for their kit, and you'll make more money than it is, and you're an independent contractor and all that, and you're like, oh my god, I'm going to make money. The way I defeated them is because they say back in the day, they say you make money on per visit, where you're going to make $20 an hour on per visit or whatever. So I said to myself, look, this is bullshit. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to all my family members, and I did, and I made about over $1,500, and then I left them and told them, you guys are full of shit. Unfortunately, later on, now they're still operating, and now they're not doing it. They're doing it per sale, which means most likely, again, they're the middleman, and you're putting in all the footwork, and you're not going to see a dime. They're making the money, and they will hire, and they always say, oh, we only hire about 20 people. Oh, we're only looking for 3 people out of 1,000. And it's full of shit. They hire everyone in these insurance companies and these security companies and all of these other locations. They're going to always say these things to try to entice you, especially the cunning ones. And in reality, they hire everyone. They have you guys by the multitudes. It kind of reminds me when I used to work for a comedy club back when we used to go out there, and with them, at least they're honest. The comedy clubs are always honest. They're like, you make what you sell. We're not asking you to pay anything up front. Any job that asks you to pay anything up front is a freaking lie. That's a number one red flag that you guys should automatically know it's bullshit. Okay, I don't care what it is, you don't do that. So anybody that pays money up front, it's most likely bullshit. Now, unless you work, of course, for the government, which they charge you money for fingerprints and all kinds of other crap, but normally nobody charges money. So there's nothing that should be automatically send you a sign right away that it's bullshit. And that's what you guys need to, you got to look for these things. And I remember I fell for it and came out of it. And then I fell for one that really hit me hard, because I finally found a job, but I was looking for another job in school. And then, hello and behold, stuff an envelope, send them. And yes, you see some people say, well, I can't believe you're so stupid that you fell for that. It's not being stupid. It's being an opportunist. We're looking for ways to make money because we want to better our lives. We want to pay for our own way. We don't want help from anybody. We want to do it ourselves. And you know what? I really admire that. And I really like women and men who are single parents who do that and constantly want to make an honest living. These are people I really respect, I highly appreciate. And unfortunately, they're targeting them. They're targeting college students. They're targeting everybody. And I fell for that. And I paid for their stupid kid $250. But guess what? I contacted the business bureau and they got my money back. So I always recovered from these things. Thank God. You know, I always recovered. But the thing is, there's many that don't recover. There's also scams of people that are telling you an apartment. And I remember this when I used to work in Times Square. I still work there in a different area, but I used to work on, I think it was 43rd Street, something like that. This lady came into the Marriott Marquis and actually told me back in the day, she was like, we all came here with my family. I bought a place and the guy said he was going to meet us with a key. And I'm like, oh my God, that already sounds fraud, right? Basically, he had her pay a deposit to make sure that she's buying the house. That house ended up being owned by somebody else, and they do this all the time with apartments and houses, and they tell you to put a down payment on it so they can hold it for you, and then they do, and then they act like they're holding it for you. You come all the way there and realize the whole thing was a scam. And these things, it might seem like common sense, but it isn't. To a person, let's say, who has so much hatred in them for what has happened to them, a rightful hatred, for a person who is so enraged by it, or for a person who's panicking, doesn't have hatred, but panicking that he doesn't know where his next paycheck's going to come from because they got fired, they no longer, you become blinded. Even when you're desperate to find a job, you become blinded. You're so desperate, you finally get a call, and it ends up being the wrong person, but your subconscious wants to make that the right person. There's nothing wrong with you. You're doing great. You're just, you're not gullible. You're not stupid. You're not anything. Don't take it hard on you. It's just, these are tactics that these pros are responsible for. And I want you guys to understand this. So these are the things you got to look out for all the time. And, when you do, you'll make better decisions. Because everybody fell for these things one way or another. Everyone does. So to that lady who told me the story, I just want you guys to know that I'm here for you. Need any help, let me know. I'm here for you. But the thing is, ultimately, let this be a lesson in life that nothing comes that easy. And if it does, investigate the crap out of it and make sure that it's legit. Because sometimes, the old saying, if it's too good to be true, odds are it probably is. But don't miss out opportunities that probably are too good to be true and actually are. So you have to investigate it on your own. But don't let these emotions, don't let anything kind of rule over your common sense. And again, you're not stupid, you're not gullible. It's just, it was a lesson in life. This was meant to be as a bump, in your life to teach you. Maybe God has done it because something horrible is about to come your way that's even worse, a bigger scam artist, and this is going to save you from it. So these are things you all got to look into, but don't even worry about it. Just look for the signs and investigate. Always remember, call up, not based on their numbers, but look them up online, call them up, investigate the situation, investigate where they are, investigate every little thing of where the actual business is, and you'll see that the businesses will say they don't hire like that. And then try to track them. And when you do, first off, you could call the business bureau, you could call the FBI, you could report these scumbags, and you'll see that most of them are not even from this country. Although some of them are from this country, believe it or not. And those that are from this country, the FBI will catch them. Already they have caught, what is it, about over 130 or something like that of them within the past couple of years. So it's gonna happen. Here they will be caught. But again, it is your responsibility to investigate. And if you need help, let me know, contact me. You got a brother here. This is the People's Channel. We're all family here. You let me know, I'll investigate them. I do investigations all the time of every little thing that I do, from video games to technology to every little crap. You just contact me and I'll let you know, is it a right decision? Is it not? If you're too emotional at a state of mind that you guys are, you know, in, let's say you got fired or whatever, you know, contact me, let me know, and I'll help you out. You know, this is, you know, let's make that the New Year's resolution. Everybody helps one another. We live in a time right now where it's so freaking divisive. And for what? You know, we all need to come together and help one another out. So let's do this right here, right now. Anyone that has an issue and or, you know, going through emotions and going through the ups and downs, you guys give me, you know, contact me, and we'll help each other out. Don't even worry about it, okay? I'll make time. We'll do this and we'll get through it, okay? Have a good one, y'all. As always, if you guys like what you see, like the video, subscribe, hit that bell button. There's many more videos to come, and keep those stories. Let me know what's going on, and I'll do videos like this. Hopefully this video will help someone, and that you who gave me, you know, your story, just know that because of you, you're going to be helping out many people who see this video. It's because of you I made this video. So because of you, you are getting this amazing deed and great karma coming your way, you know, because of you, many who are going to see this will not be tricked by these fraud pieces of garbage. All right, have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.